magic has been called the language of the birds. It's green or alchemical language. And this presentation is only an introduction to this topic. I've chosen words that I find particularly interesting, and this list is by no means exhaustive. Now, word magic works on phonetics, i.e. the sounds of words. We're influenced at a subconscious level by the hidden meanings of words. So word magic makes sense at a subconscious level, logically and symbolically, through the left and the right hemispheres working together. Word magic works like spells. Certain words have been crafted to speak to us subconsciously. And to understand green language, it's necessary to engage these both hemispheres of the brain, the intuitive and the logical. Now, think of the language of the birds not as a human language, but a language of nature itself, the language that birds speak together when they make their complicated calls. And this is just a metaphor. Birds are complicated, nature's complicated, and this speech is both beautiful and complicated. In Abrahamic and European mythology, medieval literature and occultism, the language of birds has been postulated as a mystical, perfect divine language, Adamic language, Enochian, angelic, or mystical, magical languages used by the birds to communicate to the initiated. So let's look at words around money and banking. Now, banks control a flow of currency. Water flows down a river is controlled by the banks of the river. The river flows controls the currency, or in the same way that current is controlled. Current is also electricity. And as such, charge relates to currency. A credit card is charged when you buy something. Therefore, charge relates to money, electricity, or life force. Your life force is extracted. Cells. Now, life force can be said to be stored in a cell. A battery stores life force or charge or energy. It's the same way that a cell, when a person is arrested and held, is their charge is being held, their life force is being held in a cell. Bull, as in bull market. Now, bull is relating to Baal. Bull is another name for Baal, the ancient Phoenician god, and also the god of the Canaanites. And in that time, people worshipped the golden calf. Hence, the bull is a symbol of virility, and it is a symbol of the rising stock market. There is a golden bull outside of Wall Street. So as we've mentioned, currency controls current through banks, like controlling electricity flowed through wires, and therefore money is called currency. Now, an urn is a place where you hold the ashes of a dead person who's been immolated, in the same way that going out and working, earning money, is using up your life force. So, Job was this Old Testament dude who suffered a lot. And so a job is really phonetically the same, that we go to work to suffer. Mon-I. Mon, one, I in the middle. Money is one I. Now, think of the word birth as phonetically equivalent to berth, where ships are docked in the harbour. In maritime admiralty law, a berth certificate or a certificate of cargo is issued when a ship is docked in the harbour. Just as a baby is delivered through the waters of the mother's birth canal and is given a birth certificate, a certificate of manifest when it arrives in the harbour and is birthed. Words relating to media. Broadcasting is casting on a broad scale. Magic spells that are sent upon the airways. Television. Tell a vision. Television that is a false proxy for reality. Media. Media is the Greek goddess of mind control. Hollywood. Now, what are magic wands made of? They're made of the wood of the holly tree. What does Hollywood do? Hollywood's used for casting spells. The word devil is the word evil with a D put in front of it. The word dogma contains the word dog. A dog describes a person who obeys without question. The word dog is God, spelt backwards. Evil is the word live, spelt backwards. Evil is the antithesis of life. God is good with an O taken out. God is good. Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. Now these are three gods of the ancient world. Satan, Saturn. Saturn is the black sun, the opposite of light. Satan was the opponent of God in Egyptian mythology, also called Set. Spell is a series of letters that are put together to spell a word, and this is using neurolinguistics to cast spells on people and the arrangement of words. Solomon, Sol-O-Min, sun and moon. Solomon. Sovereign, self-ownership, self-reign, sovereign. Super Bowl, superb owl. How many people watch the Super Bowl every year and don't understand that it's referring to the superb owl, the owl being a representation of Moloch, the symbol of the dark occult. The owl is used at the ceremonies at Bohemian Grove each year where the elite meet. Now the word compassion contains the word compass and ion. In other words, compassion is the compass with the eye on. The moral compass, the eye is on. Concentration, con, Latin, centra, center, and ion, the third eye is on. Contemplation contains the word temple, con, with, the temple, the eye is on. So the temples, the symbolic temple of Solomon, the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, the eye in the middle is open when the temples come together. Coward, this word contains the word cow. Cows are cattle, chattel, other words property. The Hebrew term for cattle is goyim, and it's referring to those who do not use their brains. They are no better off than the beasts of burden that are sent to slaughter. Culture. Society is a culture. Bacteria in a petri dish is a culture. Billions of cells. The Hermetic principle states that things are self-similar across scales. As an individual is, so is society, and vice versa. Solution. Soul, sun. Spirit. Ion. In other words, in the solution, the eye is on the soul. In other words, the solution is found by looking inwards. Property contains the word proper or right and the word suffix t, which is power over. Therefore, property is the right to have power over something. Nobility is really no ability. So those who call themselves nobility really have no ability. They don't apply their skills, but they use the skills of others. They extract the ability of their subjects because they have no ability themselves. Words concerning the military. The word military. My light awry. My light has gone out. It's gone astray. My light's gone awry. Soldier. Soldaya. Murdering others is murdering the soul. Phonetically and with anagrams, the word soldier contains the word sold, as in selling your soul to the devil. Soul, as in S-O-U-L, and die as in death, or red as in blood, died. Soul dire, the soul is in peril. So concerning architecture, columns are used to hold up a structure. The Latin word for column is colum, which means dove. Dove is the feminine principle. Now, the entrance to the Temple of Solomon, the Temple of the Sun and the Moon, has 3 columns. It is the masculine column, the Dorian, and the feminine column, the Corinthian. And in the middle, when these 2 columns come together, when you go in between the 2 columns, that is the Ionic column, or Ion, I-C. When the 2 hemispheres of the brain come together, the I is on. History is his story. History told from a male perspective. Mystery is my story. Now, history is a mystery because who knows how much of history has been polluted by misinformation. Now, the Nazis were occultists, and Nazi phonetically is not C. Pandemonium. Pan means all, and demons, all spirits, are gathered. Therefore, pandemonium is the gathering of evil spirits. Predators. Now, dark occultists consider themselves to predate. They say their old religion comes before modern history. So the predators in our society, the predators, are the occultists, the dark occultists. Now, this has only been an introduction to the subject of word magic, also called green or alchemical language. So I encourage you all to go out and do your own research and find out more about this fascinating topic.